this computer. Okay, so hi everyone. Just a little pop-up training tonight about belief, and specifically about belief in the product. So I'm just going to share my screen and show you this little presentation. Serena, I can see you. Can you see that? Yeah. So just going to talk about belief and how to sell more products with the power of your belief. So we all know that ketones have so many different benefits. We've got the focus, concentration, energy, the brain function, sleep quality, better mood, muscle preservation, recovery and DNA repair, and also fat loss. And there's so many different things that you can focus on within them benefits. So what I would massively encourage you to do is niche down. There's nearly 8 billion people on this planet. You know, you've really got to get your mind away from trying to appeal to everyone and speak to everyone, because all it's doing is pushing people away from you. You know how people say, if you try to speak to everyone, you actually speak to no one? That is so true. So yeah, just bear that in mind, that you really need to just niche down on what's going to work for you. So I know we've all heard this a million different times. Sorry, my computer's going a bit funny here. Right, it's okay. So we've all heard this a million times: facts tell and stories sell. So I want you to ask yourself, what is your story around the product? Why do you take it? You know, are you being authentic in the way that you share it? Because it's really important that you speak from a place of your own story and the experience that you've had personally with it. We all know, you know, that in order to increase the sales and create that big momentum, you need to really believe. It all comes back to that belief. So what actually is belief? If you look belief up on Google, you know, belief or believe, they both say the same thing. It's to accept that something is the truth without proof. So it's not a factual thing. It's not about having a big fact sheet that's full of facts on why what you believe is real. It's actually really about the way that you feel. So a great example of what makes us believe without proof. When I lived in Australia, I met this guy, and I actually rang my dad 2 days after I met him and said, "Oh my gosh, Dad, I've met this guy and I'm going to marry him. I know within my soul that this is my soulmate." And obviously, you know, we have these feelings about things all the time that are really strong and that cause us to make decisions, you know, in life. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're true. It is all genuinely based on the way that thing makes you feel in that moment. So just bear in mind always that people make decisions based on emotion and not facts. And that's why, you know, if I did a presentation all about the facts around ketones, it's really not going to help you to go out there and sell them and share them with people, because it's all going to be based on that factual information rather than you know, generating this niche and creating this story around the product. So your story needs to be emotional and needs to give your prospects a feeling. Like when people visit your page and watch your lives, and when you talk about the products, what is that feeling that you're trying to evoke within someone, and how can your story like impact that person on an emotional level? One tip that I would really advise you to do is don't take shortcuts. You know, in order for you to generate a really good product story, it really does mean that you take the product, you know, and you're a product of that product. So every single day taking the product, like I can see Serena on my screen, she is the perfect example of this. Every single day without fail since she's joined this business, I see her doing a video, you know, pouring it into the water, whether she's at work or she's at home. Sometimes she'll be in like a onesie or in a dressing gown. She doesn't care. She's getting it on there every single day and showing people you know, that she's taking the product and that she's being a product of the product. And a good example of this little story I'll tell you, in my previous company, I actually did like a photo shoot for the protein shakes, and I created this space in my house with all these really nice tiles and, you know, ring lights, made it all look really professional. and then poured the protein shake from the top of the screen into the cup so that it filled up the cup on a boomerang. And it was like all different flavors with, you know, like bananas behind it, cookies behind it, chocolate bars. It looked really, really aesthetically pleasing. And I showed one of the leaders in the business and said, you know, I've done this photo shoot for the products. Do you like it? Do you think it will sell? And she was like, Eve, it looks amazing. And I don't want to burst your bubble, but when you say that you're going to share this, are you just going to share the same cup, like every day the same glass, every day the same boomerang? Is that your idea behind it? And I was like, yeah, you know, really naive. She was like, Eve, no, we're not in advertising, we're in network marketing. So it isn't about doing something, you know, that you can just put it up kind of without any effort. It's about you actually not having a shortcut and taking that journey and saying, every single day I'm going to take this product, and every day, even, you know, some days I'm not going to look too great, or some days I'm not going to want to share about it, but it's that consistency of actually doing it and showing up. And, you know, even if it's a really crappy little picture on your phone, it doesn't matter. It really isn't about what it looks like. It's about people knowing that you're doing it and knowing you and trusting you. So don't take the shortcut. This is a perfect example with my product journey. So 4 to 8 weeks on the product, I felt really, really good. And I did want to tell everyone about it. You know, I was really, really excited about it. But if I'd have just stopped taking the product there and said, okay, you know, I've tried a few different flavors, you know, this is nice, it's making me feel great, that's it, I'll just stop taking the product now, I never would have had that really dramatic lifestyle transformation that I did have. And I wouldn't have been able to, you know, explain to people why they should stay on the product long term. And I was explaining to someone the other day, these before and after pictures weren't an intentional thing that I did. It was literally, I took this first picture because I actually thought I was pregnant. I was so bloated that I was quite worried that I was pregnant. So I took a video of me like turning around, because I just felt really like, you know, really different than I would usually feel. And then the second before the after picture was only when like my friends and family were constantly saying to me, oh my gosh, Eve, you've lost so much weight, you've lost so much weight. And I was thinking, have I? Like, I don't feel like I've lost tons of weight. And then I took that after video, and I have got so many clients through this transformation picture. So stay on the product every day and just really, really see, you know, that domino effect that it's going to have in your life, like them long-term changes that it's going to make. Because, you know, of course, from one small habit, then you might start exercising more, you might start eating better. It's going to be that cascade of, you know, like the butterfly effect. And just a great example of this is, for me, for telling my story, if someone was going to say to me, you know, how have the ketones helped you? Why do you take them? I could give them a fact, like, for example, it's because they suppress your appetite and they really help to control cravings. That's a factual way of me explaining it. But if I tell
Eve,
yeah,
Eve, sorry, there's Helen's on the messenger. Helen's trying to get in and can't, I think.
I'll have to send her the recording, Jane. I can't.
Okay, no worries.
Because it'll quit the whole thing.
No worries.
Okay, I'll send her it. But so the facts that I would be telling is, you know, the suppressing your appetite, all of that kind of stuff. But then my actual story is so wrapped up in emotion. Like, for example, I used to have a really, really bad problem with bulimia and really bad cravings, and I didn't know how to control them. And through this product, I've been able to actually find peace of mind in myself and free myself, you know, from all of that chaos that was going on in my own head. And when I talk about that story to people, I can say things like, you know, I used to drive home from work, and if I had my windows down and I could smell McDonald's out of the windows, it would send me into such an intense craving that I would actually drive to the shop and go and spend maybe £5 or £10 on sugary things like chocolate bars and sweets and crisps. And then I'd be sat in my car ripping all the wrappers open really fast and eating them as quickly as I could, because I had these cravings that was like completely out of control. And during that process, you know, I would hear in my mind things like the comments that my mum used to make to me when I was a really young child, like, you need to lose a bit of weight, you know, you'd look so much better if you lost a bit of weight. And that would literally send me into this like this almost insanity where I felt so ashamed of myself. You know, I felt so out of control that I would then go on this binge eating craze, and then I would make myself sick until I could taste blood in my mouth, because it was, you know, it was that much of a problem. So within that story there, I've mentioned the smell of McDonald's, hearing my mum's voice in my head, touching, you know, the plastic wrappers in my car, feeling really out of control and ashamed of myself, and tasting blood in my mouth. So do you see how I've created like a sensory experience that someone else can put themselves into my shoes, and it can start to evoke them feelings within themselves, because I've given that experience, because I've had it myself. So through facts, you can never give someone that sensory experience where you can like really paint that picture and make them feel like they're in your shoes and having that experience. And for anyone who relates to that story that I've just told, it's sold. It's like it's done, because they feel like I really relate to what they're going through, and they know that this has really helped me. So it creates that hope of, okay, this is going to help me too. So we're in a business of duplication. It's really important that you remember that. It is all about what you do and not what you tell other people to do. So if you're going to go out there and feel really confident in what you're selling, like, you know, are you actually doing what you're telling someone else to do? So for example, if a customer comes to you and says, okay, I really want to get going on this, I really want to try it, and you say, okay, amazing, you know, I've got 20 days worth here, send me £130 to my bank account. If you're telling that person to spend that money on that product, are you doing that yourself? Like, are you actually genuinely putting that money aside to buy the product every month and take it? Because if not, why would someone else do something that you're not willing to do? Like, how on earth can you have confidence in telling someone to do something that you're not willing to do yourself? For anyone who's not in that position where you're like, you know, oh my God, I can't afford the products, or this is really stressful, you know, when I have more money, that's when I'll drink the product every day. I completely understand that, and I'm not judging you in any way, because that is the place that I used to be in my old company. I'd be like, you know, I just can't afford it this month. I'd say things like that. And now looking back on that, I realise how I didn't take my own business seriously. You know, I'd be more than happy to go out on the weekend, for example, and spend money on drinking, but then I'd say, oh, I can't really afford my product this month. Now, looking back, I look back at my previous self and think, were you joking? Like, that is absolutely ridiculous. If you're expecting to make a full-time income with that mindset, it's absolutely ridiculous. But at the time, I just didn't see it like that. I was looking for that shortcut and looking for that quick way to make it happen. And I just want to let you know, it doesn't exist. So don't waste your time. Like, trying to create a shortcut is going to waste time. It's going to actually be a much longer process. So ask yourself these questions. Are you drinking the product daily? Genuinely, are you using the product daily? How many different flavors have you tried? So one example is like some guy, about, I think maybe like the second month that I joined Prove It, I went to his shop. He had a shop in Leeds with all ketone stuff in it, and he was a part of the business, and I went and bought a load of the American flavors off him, and he gave me a Keto Pro, you know, one of the protein shakes, and a cream. So a sachet of the Pro, a sachet of the cream. And I was obsessed with the Keto Nat at the time. I absolutely loved it because it had helped me so much. And I actually gave the Pro and the cream to Jess, another girl who works in the business, because I just didn't have that attachment to it. You know, I didn't really understand it. I didn't know how to use it. I was just a bit like, nah, I'm not focusing on that right now. And now, if someone asks me about the protons or the cream, I can talk and talk and talk about it because I've used it myself and I love it. And, you know, I've made it part of my daily life. So how many benefits have you experienced? Like, how consistently have you been taking it? And have you tried any of the support products too? If you can, amazing, go and try them, because it will just expand your ability to share them and to teach people about them. So what I would really, really suggest you do, it might be a little bit tricky for people to actually see this recording because there's a thing blocking it, but it's okay. So what I would do is niche down on why you're selling these products. Don't try and cover all of these bases, because you're not going to be able to, and you're just going to put people off. It's too random and all over the place. So really, really think about, why do you take the product and how has it helped you? Like, what has it done for you personally? And any of these categories, I think, are really strong. You know, it doesn't have to just be about fat loss. It can be about fat loss and diet and control and cravings and all of that kind of stuff. It can be, you know, a few subtopics, but really, really niche down on what is your ideal client looking for and what can you help them with. And then I would give yourself a little assignment on, firstly, ask yourself, what is your niche? Think about what is your niche, and then really, really go and do some research. Maybe even make a 5-minute video, you know, on what you found out about your niche. Post it into the team group and say, this is my niche and this is the information that I found about it. And just really build your belief around that whole, you know, I'm an expert in this field. This is my field. Like, I'm going to dominate this field in particular. And that will give you that really unshakable belief. So I just want to really, really quickly show you the end of this video, because it's exactly what I mean there. And Serena, would you just go like this if you can hear it?
How many of you have shown somebody a house before, they didn't pull the trigger and they regretted it? You know what? Shame on you. Why didn't you shut that deal down? I don't want to pressure anybody. If you won't pressure a client that you like, it's because you don't believe in you, the product, okay, or the company that you represent, period. If you will not pressure somebody to do the right thing, it's something you don't believe in. Look at the word, what it believe means. To have confidence in the truth. What is the truth? This is a good deal, and you need to do it. You're pressuring me, Grant. I sure am. And a sign right there. Let's do this. It's the right thing. Why? He looks at me and says, what? Oh my God, this guy is so certain. Are you sure it's the right thing? Guarantee it's the right thing. Lean on the pen. Let's do it. And you're thinking to yourself, I couldn't do that right now. Dude, I wasn't taught how to do this. I spent 17 years in school. They don't teach you this. You have to.
So that's, you know, that's what you're going to really be able to get from niching down. It's like that absolute certainty. No one could ever convince me that ketones don't work for fat loss, because it's worked so much for me in my own life without me even really wanting it to work. It was a weird experience, but after so many years of me struggling with this problem, it just dropped off me, and it was so effortless and so easy. And honestly, you know, no one could ever convince me that this doesn't work for fat loss. So take whatever your experience is and just really, really run with that. Create that niche, you know, do your little 5-minute video or a little presentation, whatever it is you want to do. Maybe you just want to write loads of notes in a notebook, send a picture into the group. But for anyone who's open to that and, you know, wants to move the business forward, set yourself that little assignment. What's my niche? How can I educate myself around that niche? And then, you know, we've got like the YouTube channel, so Keto 101, that's what that's called. Prove It TV, which is an app that you can download on your phone. And then we've also got the Facebook group, which is called the Keto Life. And that's got about 60,000 members in it. So whatever your niche is, let's say it's hormones, you can type into the search bar hormones and it will come up with them doctors' videos and testimonials of other people. So really, really hope that's helpful, everyone. I'm just going to run now because there's other people on a different call, which I was supposed to be on a 1:15, but I really hope that's helpful. And yeah, looking forward to seeing what your niche is and seeing your little assignment. So see you later, everyone. Happy Monday. Bye.